The truth behind Ibrahim Traoré's anti-France policies finally exposed. In a time when African nations are rising up to reclaim their sovereignty, one leader has captured the attention of the entire continent and shaken the foundations of France's long-standing influence in West Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young, defiant, and highly bold president of Burkina Faso, has become a symbol of resistance against foreign intervention, and in particular, France's neo-colonial grip on the region. But what's really driving his aggressive anti-France stance? Is it a purely patriotic rebellion, or is there a deeper, more strategic, even darker motive behind these policies? In this video, we dive deep into the complex web of power, betrayal, and influence. From secret military agreements to underground alliances, from France's controversial role in the Sahel to whispers of Russian involvement, we're pulling back the curtain on what's really going on behind the scenes. You won't hear this on mainstream media. This is the untold story, the real reasons why Traoré is rejecting France and what it means for the future of Africa. Stay tuned as we uncover the truth and why it matters now more than ever. Let's start the video. The roots of anti-French sentiment. To understand Traoré's policies, we need to look at Burkina Faso's history with France. France colonized Burkina Faso until 1960, when the country gained independence. However, France maintained significant influence through economic agreements, military presence, and the CFA franc, a currency tied to the euro that critics argue limits African economic freedom. Many in Burkina Faso and other former French colonies feel this setup allows France to control their resources and politics, a system often labeled as neo-colonialism. Traoré tapped into this deep frustration. He has publicly called France an imperialist state and accused it of supporting terrorism and exploiting Burkina Faso's gold and other minerals. In January 2023, he expelled French troops who were stationed in the country to fight jihadist groups, claiming they were ineffective and even complicit in the violence. He also kicked out the French ambassador and blocked French media outlets, labeling them as tools of neo-colonialism. These moves were cheered by many Burkinabés and Africans tired of foreign interference, but they also raised questions about whether Traoré's policies are as straightforward as they seem. The appeal of Traoré's anti-France rhetoric. Traoré's anti-France stance resonates strongly with young Africans, especially in the Sahel region, where Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have faced years of jihadist violence, poverty, and political instability. His youth, he was 34 when he took power, and his bold speeches about self-reliance and Pan-Africanism make him a symbol of hope for those who feel let down by older leaders and Western powers. Social media has amplified this image, with viral videos and posts praising Traoré as a modern-day Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader from the 1980s. Some posts even claim he's made education and healthcare free or paid off the country's debts, though many of these claims have been debunked as false or exaggerated. For example, a widely shared claim that Traoré made all education free from nursery to university turned out to be misinformation, with no official government announcement to back it up. Similarly, posts about new housing projects under Traoré's leadership often used images from unrelated projects, like one in Algeria. Despite these falsehoods, the enthusiasm for Traoré shows a hunger for leaders who challenge the West and promise change. The shift to Russia and new alliances. One of Traoré's most significant moves was aligning Burkina Faso with Russia, a rival to Western powers. In 2023, he attended the Russia-Africa Summit, where he denounced Western new colonialism and called for closer ties with Russia. He reopened the Russian embassy in Burkina Faso, which had been closed since 1992, and some reports suggest he's worked with Russian mercenaries, though Traoré denies relying on groups like the Wagner Group. Instead, he claims his forces, including the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, VDP, are sufficient to fight jihadists. Traoré also helped form the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, with Mali and Niger, two other junta-led countries that expelled French troops. This alliance aims to create a unified anti-Western bloc focused on self-reliance and regional cooperation. For many, this shift signals a rejection of France's historical dominance and a push for African-led solutions. However, critics argue that swapping French influence for Russian or other foreign partnerships might not truly free Burkina Faso, but instead replace one form of dependency with another. Economic moves, resource control, or propaganda. Ibrahim Traoré's economic policies in Burkina Faso focus on controlling the nation's vast gold reserves, banning unrefined gold exports, and nationalizing key mines to process 150 tons annually domestically. This move, intended to retain profits and reduce foreign exploitation, has sparked debate. Supporters view it as a bold stand for sovereignty, while critics, including General Michael Langley, argue Traoré leverages gold revenues to bolster his regime rather than benefit citizens. Infrastructure projects like hospitals, mobile clinics, and a planned 40,000-seat stadium aim to foster national pride, yet many remain unfinished with questionable impact. Misinformation, amplified by Russian media and pro-Traoré accounts, inflates his successes, casting doubt on whether these policies are genuine economic reform or strategic propaganda to sustain his popularity. The dark side: security and repression. While Traoré's anti-France policies have won him fans, Burkina Faso's security crisis has worsened under his rule. Jihadist groups control about 40% of the country, and attacks have increased, killing thousands and displacing over 2 million people. Traoré promised to tackle this violence, but his general mobilization of civilians to support the military hasn't stopped the insurgency. Some analysts argue that his focus on anti-Western rhetoric distracts from the urgent need for effective security measures. Moreover, Traoré's government has been accused of cracking down on dissent. Journalists and activists who criticize him face online harassment or worse, with some exiled or declared wanted by the junta. Rights groups warn of shrinking civic space, where questioning Traoré is seen as betrayal. This has led to what some call digitally outsourced repression, where online mobs silence critics, creating a cult-like following around Traoré. His supporters argue that strong measures are needed in a time of crisis, but others see this as a sign of authoritarianism, not revolution. The global reaction and coup attempts. Traoré's policies have angered Western powers, particularly France, and the U.S. French President Emmanuel Macron called African leaders ungrateful for expelling French troops, prompting Traoré to retort that France owes its existence to African soldiers who fought in World War II. The U.S. has also criticized Traoré, with General Langley's comments sparking protests in Ouagadougou. Meanwhile, Traoré has faced multiple coup attempts, including one in April 2025 allegedly backed by France and neighboring countries like Ivory Coast and Benin. He claims to have evidence of foreign plots, though France denies these accusations. These tensions highlight the high stakes of Traoré's policies. By challenging France and aligning with Russia, he positioned Burkina Faso in a geopolitical tug-of-war. Some see this as a brave stand for sovereignty, while others warn it risks isolating the country and inviting new forms of foreign interference. The truth, hero, or hype? So, what's the truth behind Traoré's anti-France policies? On one hand, they tap into a real desire for African self-determination, addressing historical grievances against France's influence. His moves to control resources and build new alliances reflect a vision of a stronger, independent Burkina Faso. Yet the reality is messier. The security crisis persists, economic gains are overstated, and his crackdown on dissent raises red flags. The online hype, fueled by misinformation, has created a larger-than-life image that doesn't fully match the facts on the ground. Traoré's supporters argue he's a visionary fighting imperialism, while critics see him as a populist using anti-France rhetoric to mask governance failures. The truth likely lies in between, a young leader with bold ideas but facing immense challenges in a volatile region. Whether he can deliver on his promises or fall into the trap of authoritarianism remains to be seen. Ibrahim Traoré's war isn't just against foreign domination, it's against the ghosts of colonialism, the chains of dependency, and the silence of an international community that picks and chooses its outrage. But the real question remains, is Traoré a beacon of hope for Pan-Africanism, or is he simply replacing one master with another? The truth is complex, messy, and still unfolding. One thing is clear, Africa is waking up, and the world better pay attention. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to subscribe for more untold stories and comment below, is Ibrahim Traoré the revolutionary Africa needs or a dangerous disruptor? We're listening.